Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish off this week's theme of vocal harmonies with a style of music that honestly seems custom made for this theme, acapella stuff. We'll be checking out Bon Iver, the song Heavenly Father. It's an acapella song, possibly an acapella rendition, I don't know, live at the Sydney Opera House. That's pretty cool. Let's dive into this and see what's going on.
Ever since I heard the howling wind, I didn't need to go where a Bible went. But then you know your gifts seem heaven sent. Just lead me to a caller, Dad, that's the thing. And I don't know how you house the sin, but you're free now. And I was never sure how much of you I could let in. So you're free now. Won't you settle down, baby? Here your love has been. Heavenly Father brought to his love, or you don't carry other names.
I love the different textures in the harmonizing work, the foundational elements.
To go another day as we learn to close. I'm a known coward and a coward win. But you're free now. You turn around now and you count to 10. See you go now. Well, I know now, honey, that I can't pretend. Heavenly Father brought to his autumn, and love is left in it. Cause I just been up here for goddamn years. Goddamn fears. I'm free now. Well, I know about it, darling. I've been standing here. Heavenly Father, He's all that He offers, a safety in the end. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Oh my goodness, the show.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's something that doesn't happen too often Um, I was just totally transfixed by that performance, enthralled. Yeah, it was over before I even really noticed that the song had been going for a while. Just absolutely captivating performance, and man, that's what music's about right there. It really is creating art that transcends elements. It's what was that? Six, seven voices. That's it, and just creating this moment that I don't know, it feels displaced from time. That last 4 minutes or whatever the song length was, I forgot that I've got a camera going, that there's a microphone in front of me. I was just enjoying a video of a performance like any other time in my listening when I listen to music on my own and stuff. Completely removed me from my situation and brought me into the experience of the artwork. That's music. That's music. And I don't mean to say that the other music we listen to is, not music or lesser or whatever because I've, not pulled out of my present situation. But there's something very powerful and evocative about this performance, at least for me, that that speaks to me at least on some level, musically. And yeah, just I kind of wish I could have been there for this performance. Just phenomenal. um. So yeah, also, I want to before we get into any analysis of what's going on musically and stuff like that, I do want to just make one quick note. Boy, man, subversion of expectations, right? So I've never heard of Bon Iver before. If I have maybe heard a song that he's created, I don't attribute it to his name. Um, but the camera pans in, and we've got a few people dressed in black. They look like possibly orchestra performers, very nicely dressed, sharply dressed. And then we get this guy in, just everyday casual clothes, got a cap on, and, stands out 100% from the people around him. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Where are we going here? Um, and definitely brought down my defenses. I suppose. We're just immediately, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What am I about to listen to? He has a very, uh, you know, standard Joe, average Joe kind of look, but he's surrounded by these people. Am I going to get this beautiful voice? And we got this subversion of expectations where his appearance betrays, you know, decades of vocal training. He just has this gorgeous voice. And no, he comes out strong with this sort of, country vibe. Got some grit. Got a little bit of that twang to his vocals, and the music around it reflects that as well. And it's like I said, a bit of a subversion of expectations where I'm not sure what I'm getting into based on the visuals of this group of people, and what I got was certainly not what I thought I was going to, and it just blew me away by surpassing every expectation I had. So yeah, completely divorced from the music itself, but something I did want to point out, because we are, for the most part, a visual creature. We make a lot of snap judgments and decisions about situations and people based on what they look like. So that is something interesting I just thought about going in here, is that the visuals that that at least Bon presented, Bon Iver. I don't know. Bon's not a first name, but I guess maybe it is. I mean, it says Bon Iver delivered a soul-stirring a cappella rendition. Is he Bon Iver? Is that Bon's just an interesting first name. I can't say I've ever heard that before. Makes me think that it's actually the group name, but I don't know. Anyways, um, dang, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways, just what I said. Subversions were expectations were subverted just because of some ideas that I had visually from what was going on, um, versus what we got, what was delivered. So normally I'd probably start with instrumentation, but there's only one instrument here, the voice. So I think what I'm going to start with is probably the big thing right here for me, which is the vocalization. And so when we have choral, choral, nope, choir, yeah, choir work like this, anything a cappella, um, you know, we have there's going to be the lead lines, especially in something like this that has lyrics. The lead lines are going to have words to them, but everything underneath is going to be vocalizations, usually vowels, ahs, ohs, oohs. And I think it's really interesting the kind of textures that all of them bring to the table because of mouth shape. There's something very open about an ah versus something that's a little bit more feels constrained when you get the ooh ooh. It's a rounder shape. It's tighter and it feels more constrained. So there's definitely characteristics to the different vowels that can be utilized to provide this the background vocalization that's going to go on underneath the melody lines. And of course, you can also not do a vowel and hum. I don't think I heard any humming here, but it is a technique that could be utilized when doing this background vocalization. But it's really interesting, at least to me, that everybody seemed to do whatever felt comfortable. Some people were doing ahs, some were doing oohs, some were doing ehs. Actually, I don't think I heard any ehs. The e's and i's, just as far as singing go, are they're very tinny and nasally and narrow. Usually you're going to want an A or a U or an O to get more of a full-bodied sound. Um, so, yeah, everybody was kind of doing their own sound, though. It seemed less rehearsed, or at least more open to interpretation. I'm curious if they would do this again, if some of these um, timbre colors would be different, or if they would do things identically, in that they have preferred mouth shapes for specific sections of the song, or just things that feel more natural to them, or if maybe it is highly rehearsed and this is exactly what they wanted to go for. Or, like I said, maybe it changes and all they're really aiming for or all they're rehearsing for is pitch, and they're allowed to have a little bit of colorization into how they achieve that sound, what kind of timbre they're achieving while they're playing these notes. Um, so, yeah, that really got my attention. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool was how everybody sort of got to play a part in every role, whether it was chordal, foundational, melodic. I think the only person who didn't was that dude with the super low note, the guy that was really playing the bass. He kind of held everything down as the root. He was the grounding, foundational element for everyone else. Um, so he really held down this bass line, but everybody else got to kind of do everything. Sometimes they harmonized to create chords for the melodies to play over. Sometimes they did counterpoint. Sometimes they got to be the melody. And it was just really cool hearing everything kind of move in and out. Everybody had multiple roles to play depending on what section of the song they were in. And I think the best part to showcase this would be there was one moment where Bon Iver, I really hope that that's the guy and not the name of the group. I'm gonna look so dumb by the end of this. He just finished saying a line. It was during one of the big chorus sections, and he just finished a line. I think we were moving into the next section, and um, the two women next to him began to play staggered notes to build this chord, and then they took that chord and moved into a harmonized melody line. And so they were doing foundational work into a melody line, and then they traded off with the call and response back to Bon. He was able to come in with his next line and play off of what they had just did. And while he was doing that, they shifted into a foundational element, just kind of holding down long whole notes to provide a chord. And the dude in the leather jacket next to him comes in and does some counterpoint or harmony, I don't remember, with what Bond's doing. And then it goes back to the women. And instead of all of them working together, we get this staggered kind of alternating melody line, some counterpoint going on just between their timbres and their ranges. And yeah, it is so intricately detailed. It sounds effortless. It really does. If you're just listening to this on the surface, it just sounds really good. You got, these guys laying down some foundational work. You got Bon and a couple of the others doing these harmonized lead lines. But when you really dig into the intricacies of it, there's some really awesome things going on the nuanced level. And the song, I believe, is more deep than it lets on, I think, is a way to put it. Basically, the deeper you dig into the song, the more nuance you're going to see. And that's something that I find absolutely spectacular about this track. And I'm sure, I've only listened to it once, and like I said, I was kind of mesmerized. I'm not sure how often I was actually engaging with it critically and how much I was just feeling it. So I'm sure if I really went in a second time and just really honed in on listening to it analytically, I'm sure there's going to be even more things that stand out to me and still things I miss. It would take multiple listens to really dig in and hear every little thing that's going on. This is something that I would love to see transposed on the sheet music where I can see everything in absolute, musically at least, how everything's working together. Where the chords are and who's shifting between foundational work versus melodic work, and where the call and responses are coming in and all of that stuff. So yeah, like that whole nuanced musicality was a huge standout for me, and I absolutely adored everything that was going on with that. Now, this song is also very human, extremely human. There's so many elements of uh, imperfection. I think that's going to be the word I go with. Not to say that it's not perfect or not good or not done well, but just imperfect as we are as humans. No performance can ever be 100% perfect. Um, and so I think the most obvious part of this is when Bond starts to break up and he gets these vocal cracks in some of the more powerful sections. The first time, I actually wondered if possibly he was straining his vocals. Either it was outside of his range, which didn't seem possible, or the fact that it's just at the end of a very lengthy, probably, concert. I mean, this is at the Sydney Opera House, so I'd say that it probably wasn't like a 25-minute opening act. It's probably a pretty lengthy concert. His voice could have been giving out at this point, but also he just seemed to be extremely emotionally invested. And once I heard the second or third crack, I almost wonder if he was getting emotional and he was having difficulties keeping his vocal cords, strong and allowing them to come out as intended, and instead having that emotion show through into his performance. which is kind of what I was leaning to by the end of it. So yeah, that, like I said, that's the most obvious one, but there's also some tonality things that come in that I actually enjoy having them there. I noticed it right off the bat. I don't know if it had anything to do with, like I said, I'm looking at this in a vacuum, right? I don't know about the performance around it. I kind of assumed that this would be, oh yeah, it says right here, perfect finale to the world premiere performance. Um, So yeah, this is at the end of a thing, and it looks like people at the beginning of the video were walking off stage. So it looks like whoever was there with them, the rest of the performers were leaving, and these guys got together in the circle to do it. How many of these vocalists were doing something else? You know, were they all doing vocals? Were they all a bit rough after doing an extended concert? You know, their vocal cords getting just a little bit tired. Were some of them playing other instruments in the last couple of songs and didn't really have their vocal cords warmed up going into this? I don't know. I don't know what led to this. But the opening chords were just a hair bit rough. There were notes in there that they weren't out of key. They weren't, the wrong pitch, but they were definitely just a hair flat or a hair sharper than they should have been. And I'm not sure a lot of people would notice it. But when you've spent a lot of time tuning your ears to hear specific notes, especially in tandem with other things, you begin to be able to hear more minor nuances in pitch. And like I said, there were definitely a couple that would not detract from your average concert goer, but for me at least, especially having, not being in the atmosphere, not having the energy and electricity of viewing this live, they definitely stood out to me. But like I said, I think they added to it more than subtracted. It's a very down to earth song, and I think it makes sense for those human imperfections to shine through in a song that not only seems to be about um, just kind of run of the mill stuff, the human experience, I would almost say, from a couple of lines I picked up. We'll dig into the lyrics in a second to see what exactly is going on, but also the fact that they shed all of the non-human instruments and have gone to percussive elements of hitting the body and vocal cords. Everything in here is human. The lyrics appear to be very human. The instruments are human. It makes sense for these small imperfections to come through, and at least for me, like I said, it adds to the experience. It brings the whole package together. There weren't any timing issues that I remember, and once they started going, everything seemed to get more in sync as far as tonality going. Um, but yeah, like I said, there were a couple tonality issues there at the beginning that I picked up, and then of course those vocal cracks there at the end. So to me, I don't know, it's amazing performance. I absolutely love it because of that. I'm gonna dig into the lyrics here and see what we got. Well, the lyrics, I'm kind of wondering. I see it's for a movie called "Wish I Was Here." This is part of the soundtrack for it. Kind of makes me want to check it out after listening to this. But it seems to be about somebody who doesn't know about their relationship with the Christian God. That seems to be what it is on the surface. But I think there's also another reading here where it's also just about the human idea of not knowing about your place in existence. What your place in the universe is, that kind of idea of feeling so small and understanding there's so much out there and not really knowing how to process that, being filled with doubts about your importance in the world and stuff like that, but just kind of going on because that's all we really can do. At least that's what I'm getting out of it. As usual, I'm kind of cherry picking some lines here and there that are standing out to me and tying these themes together. But again, like I said, it's just a very human experience, both the religious and the non religious reading of this set of lyrics, that I think just works well with this very down-to-earth rendition. Now, I believe this is an a cappella version of this track. I haven't heard the original, but honestly, I don't think it could get better than this. I don't. I kind of have it in my mind that whatever the original is going to be, at least in my mind, worse than this a cappella version, just because everything comes together in it. Everything is here to support this idea of the human experience and bringing humanity into the forefront, into the spotlight of the song, both musically, percussively, rhythmically, pulling humanity's imperfection into the performance itself. It is just enthralling on every level, and I'm so glad I got to listen to this. I I'm gonna have to get into this Bon Iver person or band. Still not sure if you. I'm sure there's gonna be comments correcting me on it, and I look forward to them because I don't want to look like a fool again. um, but yeah, this was just phenomenal. I think that's gonna wrap this up though. Hit me up. Let me know. Let me know something. Let me know your thoughts on this track, if you enjoyed it or not, anything that stood out to you, or if you have a different reading or interpretation on what's going on. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. We can start a discussion about it. I'm always open to seeing other people's perspectives on music. Above the description box, above the comment section is a description box, and in there is a link for Linktree. It'll take you to this menu right here, which is basically the all-in-one, everything in one place thing related to me and the channel. You can support me through Patreon, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord community, buy some merch, check out what I've been listening to, check out the music I've been creating, look at what's coming up on special selection. Everything's in there. Go ahead and check it out. Above the description box, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Alright, we got one more video coming out today. It's the Creator Request, which is just a fantastic resource for finding new music. Usually small or up-and-coming bands contact me and specifically ask for me to check out their music, and I do so. And we always find some fantastic stuff. So if that sounds interesting, you can check that out. It'll be live in 2.5 minutes. Otherwise, I'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. For the patrons out there, I do have a live stream on Sunday at 11 a.m. EST. Be sure to 11. I don't know why that seemed weird. Be sure to get ready for that and watch Patreon and Discord, whichever one you prefer, for the link. Alright, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.